Hello and welcome. If you've never been here before, my name is Rory. I'm a dating and relationship therapist and a life coach. I like to go through stories from Reddit or stories that my own viewers submit. Link in the description below if you'd like to submit one. And kind of piece this apart and figure out what's happening and do a bit of an analysis if you'd like. So we're going to go over a story today that I found. My boyfriend broke up with me because of my clinginess. Can I save our relationship? So this was posted 3 years ago, but maybe some things from this story can relate to you in your own life. Let's figure it out. I've been with my boyfriend, who I guess is now my ex, for almost 2 years now. All right, so we're gonna go up here. They dated for about 2 years. Let's see. I can be very clingy and needy at times, particularly when I'm texting him and he doesn't text back. So obviously we can see some of the anxiety leaking out nice and early. So in under presenting issue, I'm gonna put anxiety. When this happens, I'll overthink, and I sometimes even start asking him absurd questions like, do you not want to be with me anymore? Or even call him to get his attention. So right there, what we're seeing is approval-seeking behavior. Calmed by approval-seeking behavior, ASB. And the objective there is to, it's like saying, do you love me? Not because you are trying to express feelings of love for a person, but to hear back, be like, yeah, I love you. Right? It's not about the statement of love. It's about, okay, cool, you've done this thing. My anxiety's calmer now. I feel better. Okay, I know this is unacceptable behavior and that my ex has his own life and can't revolve his around me. I've tried to work on my clinginess in the past, but it was never serious work to better myself, so nothing big came of it. All right, so when you say, you're trying to work on your anxiety, how? Are you doing therapy? Are you maybe talking it out with friends? Do you have a bit of a plan? Like, if I'm feeling anxious, I can go for a run, or I can take a shower, or I can do something to get my mind off of it. But OP mentions it was never serious, so nothing ever came from it. This is when everything went downhill. Last Wednesday, I texted my ex if I could come sleep over for the night, but he said no. So him saying no is immediately, I can already tell, in someone like this, it's going to set their alarm bell off. Because remember, anxiety is hyper vigilant. Anxiety loves to seek out a problem, and it will create a belief based on that problem. So I could say, as someone who's relatively secure, I could say, oh, well, he's probably just tired. He probably had a long day. No big deal. I'll catch him next time. Someone who's hyper anxious will go, oh my God, why not? Why can't I come over? We're dating. We've been dating for 2 years. What's wrong? Is someone over there? Their mind can go down a million different rabbit holes. That hypervigilance is it's looking for a problem that may not even exist, and it becomes so anxious, it creates the problem it was trying to avoid in the first place. I asked why, and he didn't respond, so I asked him if I could at least see him the next day. Again, he didn't respond, and my overthinking kicked in. See? The hypervigilance, my overthinking. Granted, he's not responding, and that's probably setting OP off, so I get why that anxiety's coming, but it's certainly... We'll get into it. We'll get into some of my bigger thoughts later. He didn't pick up and texted me right after to stop calling him. I apologized and basically pitied him by telling him it makes me sad when he doesn't respond and that I miss the old him when he would text me back. Right there is a prime case of manipulation, right? So this is not pitying him. This is not saying, oh, poor me, you never do anything for me, and actually genuinely meaning it. This is trying to control the situation. Anxiety loves control. Why? Because if we have control over a situation, it's no longer unknown. It's within our power. There's something I can do about it now. All right, moving on. So we have manipulation by OP. He then told me he didn't want to see me anymore and that I was being too clingy, which made him paranoid. I said sorry and told him that I've just been missing him a lot lately, and I asked if we could still see each other. Again, no response for him, so I just went to sleep to take my mind off from what he said. Unfortunately, I did something I didn't think I'd ever do and drove to his house the next morning unannounced. I don't know why I did it other than my emotions getting the best of me and my brain simply telling me to just go see him. Okay. Showing up at, I guess now, ex's house, unannounced. It seems like they glossed over the breakup pretty quickly. Maybe they'll go into it a little more. I never pre-read these. It seems weird to me that he's just like, I don't want to see you anymore after 2 years. And that's the breakup conversation. So I don't know what's up with that. I showed up and he did not take it well. I'll keep it short, but there was a lot of crying, yelling, and regret. To add to why my ex didn't take it well is because he gets paranoid due to a stalker he's had in the past. Okay. Interesting. So me coming to his house unannounced makes me look crazy just like his stalker. Something's not adding up to me here, because OP said that they were in a romantic relationship for almost 2 years. So this just is weird. This is striking me as weird. Anyway, let's keep going. Eventually, I stopped crying and repeatedly apologized for what I did. He told me that we're officially breaking up. I was heartbroken because I know if I never showed up unannounced, none of this would have happened and we would still be together. You have no idea how wrong you are. You have no idea how wrong you are. Your ex did not go from 0 to 100. Your ex did not just randomly decide, I'm not going to text them back today. Your ex, this was already being built up in their mind. You have no idea how incorrect you are. This anxiety turns people avoidant a lot of the time, right? So we have to be careful because there's a chicken or the egg argument. What came first, my anxiety or your avoidance? If you're avoidant, that makes me want to chase you because I'm anxious and I'm looking for reassurance. But I'm looking for reassurance because you're being avoidant. But you're being avoidant because I'm being anxious and seeking all this reassurance. So it's like the chicken or the egg sort of argument, and it's hard to tell which came first. I drove back home, and he called a couple hours later and asked if I made it back safely. Okay, that's good. He's looking out for you. He then told me this would be the last time we would ever talk, and that it was over, and he would block my number and social media. I begged if we could still be together, but he said no, and we said our goodbyes. This strikes me as a young couple. This is like these are like 18 to 23-year-olds, maybe 22. The next day, I wrote him a lengthy text and apologized for what I did and how disrespectful it was. I told him I acted on my emotions and that I respect him and I'll never do it again. The problem is nobody believes you and you don't believe yourself. These are issues that need to be worked out in therapy. And I'm not saying your partner doesn't need to go to therapy as well for perhaps what is avoidance, but nobody believes you. Like after 2 years, you would absolutely have done it again. Again, I asked if he could give me another chance. He texted back and accepted my apology, but told me that this would be the last time we would be contacting each other. Like every other person who gets broken up, I acted on my feelings and instincts, kept on begging if he could give me another chance over text. So you see what's happening here is something important. What's happening here is that the original poster has such a high degree of anxiety that when the other person is saying, no, you need to listen to me, you're not listening to me. You're allowing your anxiety to take over this whole thing. But the OP can't hear it because they're so anxious. So they're like kind of like Wonder Womaning all these different reasons away. They're just like using their bracers and like, don't care, I want you back. It's not about what you want, it's about what I want because I'm triggered right now. So I'm gonna put poor communication. I wanna be really clear. I recognize it sounds like I'm shitting on the original poster because of their anxiety. I am not judging them because they have anxiety. What I'm trying to point out are some of the common themes that anxiety gives in relationships and why it can be frustrating for the person on the receiving end to have to handle with some of these things. We don't have a lot of information about what the ex did or how the ex acts, or do they have a history of ignoring OP? Are they quite avoidant in the relationship? We don't have this information. So I don't want to conjure this information if it's not in the story. So I'm being really careful about this. Okay, he simply responded with, please stop contacting me, thank you. And that was it. Again, I asked if he could give me another chance and no response. So there you go, there's that poor communication happening. I eventually regained myself and my emotions yesterday. I realized that begging would not bring him back. So I decided to go no contact and work on myself. Good for you, good job. I sent him one last text as a clean slate. Clean slate texts do not work. Hi, I'm sorry about my behavior these past few days. I was being emotional and just wasn't myself. Have a good night. Again, no response, but I didn't expect one either way. That's because he thinks if he gives you an inch, you will absolutely take a mile. So he's very like, the wall's up. He's afraid to give you any ground at all. I'll be honest, I would still love to go back with my ex, but I doubt it'll be possible after what I did. I'm also a bit confused why he didn't block my number and social media after he said he would. It makes me think he broke up because of the situation and not because of me. He absolutely broke up because of you. If you think he broke up because you showed up at his house if you did one crazy thing one time across 2 years, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, but it's unlikely. I'm hoping that during no contact he'll reach out to me, but I know that it doesn't 100% guarantee he'll reach out. Right now, what's more important is focusing on myself. Yes, I know what I did was completely wrong and disrespectful, and I hope to change for it. Is it possible for me to get back with my ex, or am I better off focusing on myself first? Does a bear shit in the woods? Oh, man. Yeah, you got to focus on yourself first. Here is exactly what needs to happen for you. And I'm speaking to the person who wrote this post. I'm speaking to the person who kind of like, yeah, that's kind of me in that story. Number one, go to therapy. Please go to therapy. I know I'm biased. I get it. But think about this. This anxiety doesn't just come from nowhere. We're not anxious for funsies, right? The anxiety is stemming from a problem that exists within us, and we can fix it. It is fixable. That's the crazy thing about it. And when I say fixable, I don't necessarily mean curable, depending on your particular situation, but I do mean like you can identify what the core wounds are and start to work on those things, and the anxiety will go from like a 10, where I'm freaking out constantly, to like a 5, or maybe even a 4, maybe a 2. Depends, right? Depends on your particular situation, but it is fixable. So number one, go to therapy. Number two, I'm not hearing anything about like other friends you can talk to, other people that you can sort of confide in. Hey, here's how I'm feeling. Hey, can you talk me down from the ledge? I'm thinking about doing something really stupid. Like, we've all been young. We've all wanted to do stupid shit before, and normally it's our friends or our family or a trusted group that we can talk to and get feedback from, and they can be like, don't do that. That's really stupid. I'm sure had someone talked you out of going to your ex's house, you'd probably feel a lot better about the situation. I still think you would have broken up like soonish, maybe not that night, but soon. It seems like it was impending. Why do I say that? Because there was the avoidance from the ex. He wasn't really responding to you. He wasn't texting you. That's why I wrote down poor communication. One side was because the OP and their anxiety is so much that they're not even listening to what the other person is saying. And the other side, because the other person seems to be going out of their way deliberately to avoid what the OP is saying. Like, hey, you're not really... I feel anxious and scared. And the ex has no... After 2 years, assuming that the anxiety was present this long in the relationship, the ex is like, I've put up with your anxiety for 2 years. I can't put up with it anymore. I'm out, right? And they're just finding a way to finally do it. So it's a rough situation. So OP, definitely go to therapy, or person viewing this, who this is, who might align with what happened in this story. Talk to some friends. Number 3, journal. Absolutely journal. Why? Journaling helps ease anxiety and ease depression. We know this to a scientific degree. You can look this up. Journaling's effect on depression, journaling's effect on anxiety. We know that journaling or mindfulness, right? That's yoga, that's meditation, that's deep breathing, going for a long walk. All of these things together will help you. Number 4, like podcasts, right? Go on a long walk and listen to a podcast like this one, where you can learn things about anxiety, you can learn things about yourself, learn things about having healthy relationships, etc. So these are just a few ideas of some things that you can do. As a last one I'll put, go to the gym. Why? Why do I say go to the gym so much? It has less to do with your physical health, although that's part of it, and more to do with your mental health. Because when you exercise, different hormones are released in your body that literally help you chill out, calm down, feel more in control, feel better, feel healthier, less mental fog, more mental clarity. So all of these different things together can be helpful to you. So tell me what your thoughts are down below. I am going to post this. Let's see, I'm recording this on the 4th. I'm probably going to post it on the 4th. But let me know what you guys think. Do me a favor, leave a comment, click like, subscribe if you haven't, and check us out at twitch.tv/HiRoryTV. So Hi Rory, that's me, TV, and we do these live. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and tell me your thoughts below. See you guys next time.